What do you mean? How do I not know Adele?
You live under a rock is what I'm trying to get at.
Bro, I don't listen to the radio.
Hello from the
I'm off the grid, you know? I don't have a cell phone.
Get himself in range, and they are going to be able to come up with that kill. Nicely played. Good damage by Ryu. Exhaust onto Golden Glue, trying to keep him in range. One more shot, and he gets him.
Yeah, multi.
Kill Zarya.
Halting you.
I'm outside this side. We can fight this. I'm going around. Wait, can we dive?
Yeah, I think we can.
Kha'Zix flash.
Kha'Zix no flash. No.
He died.
Okay, come back. Help me. I
you died,
can run. Help me out.
Kill him.
Kate Illinois. Channel T. Oh. Nice.
We go bottom mid.
Yeah, you guys can rotate the mid.
Oh, he squeezes through. Oh, he missed anyways. They're on the Golden Glue now. He should be going down. No ultimate to be used there. They're on to Piglet now. He stayed. Woo! And he goes down. Chickens, but he gets the heal out. He's roaring at home.
Welcome back, everybody, to the North American LCS. I am now joined by Phoenix One's owner, Rob Moore. 20 kills to 2. That first game must have felt pretty good.
That's a good way to go. Certainly, this split has gotten off to a much better start for us than last year. Probably took us about 5 weeks till we had our 6th game win.
Yeah, and even talking about that last split, or taking it a little bit more big picture, you're from the entertainment industry, for those of you who don't know, and I wanted to just kind of ask you, what got you interested in building Phoenix One and joining League of Legends esports?
You know, I spent 25 years in the movie business, spent a lot of time building brands like Transformers, Paranormal Activity, and looking now at what's happening here at League of Legends, seeing the passion and the opportunity to now build a brand here and what we're trying to do with Phoenix One.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, last split, it got off to a bit of a rocky start. We were talking earlier, you lost your first 9 matches, then had some powerful wins later in the split. What has that journey been like to now where you're within 1 game of starting the split 3-1?
Oh, don't say that. He's trying to curse us. But it is pretty amazing. Last year, you know, certainly the first half of the split, we had issues with visas and trying to get our team together, and then really pulled together at the end. But 100% of our energy was going into not getting relegated. Now this year, we've had the offseason, had 2 great young North American players in Zig and Inori that we discovered, who then we knew we could build something around. And then the team spent a month in Korea training and practicing and really getting some team chemistry. So even though some of our players didn't come into the US yet till a week and a half ago, they'd all been in Korea for a month. So it really felt like the team was going to come in with pretty good chemistry.
Yeah, and it's starting off pretty good, so don't want to jinx you or anything, but it's looking fairly hopeful. Looking at kind of the rest of the league as well, as you've become a much closer follower of the NALCS now as you under Phoenix One, how do you see this split shaking out?
Yeah, so I'm such a follower that I was watching League of Legends on my iPad last weekend during the AFC Championship football game. So it really feels like there's been a lot of changes to a lot of rosters, and it sorts out. It does feel like the league is much deeper and more competitive than last split, where there was definitely a haves and have-nots, and it feels like this split, almost everybody has a chance to contend for the playoffs.
All right, well, thank you very much for the new. Best of luck in the game and the rest of the season.
Perfect.
And we'll send it back to the casters to get us into the game.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely awesome to hear from Rob Moore, and it really is a scenario of we hear teams saying, you know, we're looking to be a team in this split, we're looking to be a team next split, and they have actually come to fruition in that, where they are a team that came back next split and found the roster they needed to, and that organization takes a long time.
Exactly. I mean, they made some really good offseason improvements in the pickups there with Ryu as well as Arrow. Both those guys have already been showing up and working really well with the team already. Now, they need to change something up here on the side of Team Liquid, though, going into Game 2.
Oh, yeah.
Because, yes, this is a best-of-3 series, and you do get another game, but, man, that was a very one-sided affair.
Well, you can kind of almost say, okay, that won't happen again. It's a hope, but that was a pretty good shellacking. They shouldn't be allowed to do that once more. That was a good amount of mistakes continuously made by TL, but not taking anything away from Inori. 2K gold lead over Reignover at 15 minutes. Kobe, I mean, how are you feeling if you do that to your opponent?
Yeah, I mean, especially with the Rengar, like we talked about, you know, how scary that is because of the amount of map control you have from already being ahead and taking out these turrets. Just opens up Rengar. There's really nowhere, you know, safe for them to try and farm up any gold and get back into this game. Farm for that late game Caitlyn Maokai team fight, and that's why it was such a snowball victory. This being said, biggest change here for this next game for Team Liquid is going to be they're on the blue side now, so they don't have to get pinched in the exact same way here and target Reignover's champion pool.
They did. He got his Kha'Zix. I think it hurt a little bit more as well, just to see that with targeting that, they also warded him out early in the jungle. They made sure that he had to kind of babysit all of the lanes after Ryu was able to get that good early kill. Then they gave a little bit of love in the top lane to Lorlo, and bot lane actually started getting hit up itself. We saw that replay of the dive bot with, I think, Inori coming through first, just shredding everybody. So it became early where TL lost this one out. Go through the laning phase pretty even. I think we can see a way better game for them.
All right, right off the bat here, Rise going to be banned off of the table, and we keep it in the mid lane. Phoenix1 so far going to go with the standard red side bans.
Or do they?
Meanwhile here, we do see a Zyra ban, so supports rising here. Malzahar is definitely an option as well if one of those top 3 is not open. Malzahar, I love it as a first pick, super flexible, can also transition into the mid lane, but with Zyra banned out, you definitely don't even have to, right? We have seen people play tanks into it, something like the Taric, or maybe Tom Kench for late game, being able to counter and eat people. But as of right now, they're just going to take that one off the table as well.
Malzahar getting banned out this game. Didn't find it. Phoenix1, the tried and true 3 as Reignover gets his Kha'Zix.
Yeah, I mean, the Cassiopeia hover there would be very questionable because, things like Orianna are still up. Meanwhile, Phoenix1, yeah, they're very clearly going to expect the Kha'Zix jump here for Reignover because Team Liquid really have been prioritizing that for him. Talked about not comfortable on the other things. Ashe is a good answer to the Varus, so this one not necessarily putting too much pressure on Team Liquid's next phase, but is definitely a good look for Arrow, right? He was able to land multiple Varus ultimates, really accurate with a lot of his sniping, as far as the poke as well. And actually, Phoenix1 not putting any pressure at all, really open-ended here. Start to this first phase as they just answer jungle and leave Team Liquid now the option to dictate a role. They can pick up the Ashe to try and answer there, and then go for something like that mid lane that's already been hovered. That would give Ryu, though, guaranteed counter pick, which, Phoenix1 on red side should be able to get at some points later on anyway.
May want to see if he can see it first for the mid lane pickup. I don't know. Karma may be the lock-in for them. Let's discuss it around the board. Piglet, or rather Golden Glue, has been getting kind of champions on the team that should win his lane. They are giving him those resources. They're also providing him with some as well. And he's been stepping up a bit, but almost should be more coming out of that mid lane for what he said he wanted to do this season. We'll see what he still has to pick.
Well, it is an option for Phoenix1 to try and pinch him. Yeah, technically, Karma you could flex, but not going to be the case probably, as Nami has actually picked up quick answer here. So seems like we have all answered roles as we head into ban phase number 2. Pretty standard so far. This is going to mean, as I said before, though, yes, red side is going to get first pick and the final counter pick out of the second ban phase. So they can keep the counter pick here for Ryu and hold it as long as they want to the end of the draft. Make Team Liquid show it. Same is true for the top side of the map there, though. So it really does put some pressure on Team Liquid. See what Phoenix are going to go with here. If the top lanes are already being targeted, I would expect Phoenix1 to open up with a top lane pick, already taking out the Nautilus. I'd expect them to actually prefer, Ziggs on the Maokai and give them that super solid team fighting. So they are going to leave that one up and maybe force Team Liquid to ban it. Fior's already taken out, so that's one of the good counters. It puts a lot of pressure on Team Liquid to try and ban that one out and push Zig to something else. Poppy would be the king of the tanks left after that, or the queen, I guess, since Nautilus is already on the ban list here.
Thinking Poppy might be something Lorlo would want here, depending on what they do ban. He's had quite good play on it recently. Ooh. I think ban the Kled. It is Zig. Zig has quite a variety of champions, but this kind of leaves open the ability to get those picks that they would want.
Yeah, and that's the
Or
expected
up.
answer here. You know, since they did leave up the Maokai, didn't want to spend that one. They're looking at a counter pick here. Let's see. They already banned out the Kled though, so not too many options. If they do want to match tank to tank, yeah, the Poppy is a little bit weaker, especially after the last rounds of nerfs. So be a bit of a step down from the Maokai, but might be able to delay here. Shen, as we just saw already, used this time. It will be the reverse matchup if they decide to go that way.
Lorlo breaking out his first Shen if he did there for spring. But he goes Poppy. He likes it. Be his third play coming in for that.
That's expected. I mean, he's played a lot of Poppy, even last year as well. So back on a very comfortable champion for him. And Cassiopeia going to show early. Will Ryu go with the Orianna or something more assassin-like? For me, if you're gonna go mid lane control mage, it is the Orianna. Yeah, you know, there are pros to a couple of the other mouse overs that they had there, but Orianna, such good zoning there with Cassiopeia and good lane control early on. One of the great things about Orianna as well, doesn't have to ever look at Cassiopeia. Yeah, you do get some damage out of your auto attacks, but she can pull so many games with the ball placement and can easily turn her back for the Cassiopeia ultimates. Whereas Shockwave is super good for disengaging her, does have a lot of teamfight zoning as well, and you really have to respect that zone in this little matchup here.
I love the Nami pickup here for some Asho disengages if necessary. It's usually one of the ones that can halt an entire team in place if you're really trying to save your AD carry or whoever gets hit up. Pretty good picks coming out here. Looks like Team Liquid got a good composition of what they want. It looked like they had what they want last time, but Golden Glue was able to see the composition a little bit more this time. Did blind pick that Rise, and it seemed to get him into trouble last game. Heading into game 2, Phoenix 1 is coming off that first game hot and on fire. 20-2 was the score, but Nori and Ryu going off huge. A lot of the players on the team deathless with that kind of score line, so they're feeling very confident, and TL has to find a way to shut that down. Coaches head off, and players are left to their own.
They do have, you know, some early game playmaking potential here. Both tanks, as we've seen, can very well set up ganks for these more damage-heavy junglers. We'll see how Inori does on the Rex side, though. Yesterday or last night, he had a very good carry game on the Rex side. Combining with Zig. Zig was the one bringing the damage with Jace that time around, though, and Maokai not quite as much.
So it should be kind of a slow start to the mid lane. Not too much kill pressure coming from these two, especially with their summoner spells of Cassiopeia, Orianna. Can't wait to get to the fight phase. However, for these compositions, if P1 even lets it go that far, we have just about a 30-minute game coming in now into game 2. After that 30-minute game 1, let's have it. TL now on blue side versus P1 coming in on the red side. Let's get into game.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan of Ghost in mid lane. I feel like it just highlights higher skill plays and higher skill players better. If you have the confidence to be able to dodge, you know, with the extra speed boost, it also is a very versatile spell. You know, you can use it extremely offensively. That being said, you know, definitely value in some uses of teleport, a lot more rare now, in my opinion, especially for high DPS mages, really prolific in the mid lane nowadays. And then there's always the option for exhaust if they're more all in, but these guys are not all in. Remember, this is going to be very much about the range differences between the Orianna and the Cassiopeia.
If it was Huhi that got LeBlanc the other day, ran his Ignite. I was like, I haven't seen Ignite in a while. That's nice. I like that.
It is, you know, more ballsy, more all in. Looking for the snowball there if you go with that summoner. But yeah, when it is a matchup like this that's so much about ranges, the Ghost just helps you control that range so much easier, as well as being super low cooldown for any pesky junglers that show up.
We actually saw it, you know, for quite some time, a long time ago. TF's running it, be a little bit safer in lane with the Flash Ghosts. Everybody now. Lorlo helping Rain over the same buddy system over on the side of P1 as we get this second game started off. No forward ward here, not as much, I wouldn't say early action, but early strategy here from P1 to start off.
No forward ward, but both bottom lanes starting pretty far up in the lane, so you can kind of assume, you know, Rainover did start, I believe, by himself with no pull on the bottom side last game to throw that curveball and try and get that little bit of surprise for the top side, which didn't really work out for them. But he's not going to try that this time around. Starts with the standard top laner pull.
Didn't seem fun for Zig. He'll heal back up nice and easy. Adrian grabbing a bit of brush control, but it's already warded, so he's getting in for the harass. Level 2 coming up close. Looks like it's going to be the same time as Matt and Piglet, just sidestep.
Oh, level 2 hawk shot here, going to go into the jungle and scout that. Yes, indeed, Inori definitely did start the top side because the hawk shot caught not only blue, but also the wolf camp. So I like this, feeding Rainover any extra information, always super valuable, as Piglet is able to help out a little bit.
So what becomes your path then? You see the jungler topside, you know he has a full bottom to clear.
One of the biggest things, especially with the changes to the values of the early camps, is the Scuttle Crab, right? Rainover here is getting it in for some early vision after the hawk shot, but Rek'Sai cheating a little bit since he's got the sonar passive, basically.
Ooh, jungle fight, but the AD carry bot's not gonna make it. They're going at it toe-to-toe. It looks like the mid laners also hitting each other up as they go hip and hip down the river.
Oh, Nori back in.
Nori's back in. He's got the double buffs on the side of Rainover. He wants that transfer. Nori gets the transfer. Arrow and Adrian are there for the show, but they still get the assist in.
Rainover going with the super deep invade on a Rek'Sai, and once again, Inori, huge advantage early on here. Actually, a mistake there. Lorlo gets himself under the turret, and Zig is gonna chase him down.
It's a big hit. Zig's got 1 second on that twisted advance.
The postage
2
are
or 3
healing
seconds
quite
rather
a
than level
lot.
1. There it is, the hit. Arcane smash in 1 second. Oh, he can use it here. There it goes.
Oh, huge mistake on that dive, but bottom lane another kill.
What is happening right now? Flash, go! All right, now they pull back.
Oh, Riv. The mistakes here early from Team Liquid show that it's almost off to a very similar pace as the last game for Phoenix 1. Lorlo goes for a dive up on the top turret, and Zig just snares him right under the turret. We'll take that advantage, thank you very much. Even though it's pretty close and chasing down that kill because not much extra damage, he eventually does find it. Meanwhile, Rainover with that invade, also another mistake, and the kills just keep coming.
No, Matt, don't do it. I think I can. Can he? Oh, he did.
All right, he gets a summoner spell
He
instead.
thinks correctly.
No kill here. Slow it down a little bit, but yeah.
Ooh.
Golden blue.
Oh, would have been one more auto. Flashes with the ghost.
Pretty nice dancing.
Holy moly.
Dancing moves here from Ryu, though, as he's able to punish Golden Glue for trying to bait that. Golden Glue starts it off pretty early, knowing that he's got Rainover on the way. Plus, he has this ward you see on the top half of the river. So that's the reason you can have that confidence to make that play. But Ryu just stands toe-to-toe, fights him, wins the trade himself so heavily that Golden Glue ends up having to spend both summoners anyway. And it's another one of those cases of, I get a jungle gank, but I blow my summoners offensively for no gain.
Yep.
And they end up just losing out in overall resources spent since my jungler showed, and I had burned summoners anyway.
Zig now with the kill solo for himself. Lorlo, a little too aggressive under the turret as he got the lane pushed up. Zig was taking a lot of damage in that lane the whole time. The first time we came up, he was about 30% health, kept himself low, and he's been keeping it nice and juicy. Found Lorlo in a bad situation. Still 33-39. The CS hasn't gone awry in that lane, so we'll see them doing some teleport plays in a bit.
Rainover's coming up. He does have some extra charges in the Hunter's Potion, so shouldn't be worried about the low life. Plus the honey fruit right for picking. Ryu really gonna feel confident now that he's got the extra mobility advantage. Ghost coming up quickly. Plus, Inori's doing such a good job with this ward control after that early punish onto Rainover. He not only is this a good example of his vision work that he's doing, but he also had previously placed a deep ward on the blue quadrant. So man, he has just been back-to-back invades, really creating a lot of space for these laners that are doing well for themselves in their own rights.
Good lane pressure from Ryu. He wants a little bit more dominance in that lane and finds it as he pushes Golden Glue back to base. Actually, he's going to keep him to stay here, pushing up the wave as fast as he can. So Golden Glue will not get his back just yet. Bot lane has been pretty even overall. Adrian trying to go hard in the early game with bubbles. Hasn't really been able to get too much aggression on. With that Ash arrow into now, we see Matt has Ignite this game. It's usually a different summoner pickup for him.
Yeah, looking for that level 6. I mean, so much about the Mage and Ash Varus bottom lanes has been about level 6 power of those ultimates with looking for kills. You know, and then by that point, you can also bring the junglers and maybe top laners down. So the extra Ignite there to really all in on that strategy. He does punish Adrian a little bit for trying to hold the wave here and take a bit of health, but Adrian healing up and is Nami as well, so some innate sustain. Oh, don't believe he tagged that cannon. A little bit out of range, but not much he could do about it. I think really though, again, such a big story around Inori here on the Rek'Sai. Thing about Hawkshot is that both teams can see it fired, right? Even though it does give you vision, the enemy team can see that you're working with this intelligence and go, oh, next step would be go invade, right? And get a ward down there. Since he is Rek'Sai and does have the extra vision from his passive and those pings, just plays Reignover so hard and punishes that invade. Now he can go for invades of his own, actually, since he's ahead. This time around, Reignover's the one on Kha'Zix, so he gets isolated damage, and Nori's got to run.
Say it looks like it stings. Ooh, a miss petrifying gaze. Protect. Actually, the dissonant shockwaves goes to Golden Glue. Correctly called by Ryu, and Nori didn't need the speed up, and he turns the tide of the fight with that damage.
This time around, it is Ryu who saves Nori's butt.
Wow. Well played.
Even though, you know, you have this lead on Reignover, Rek'Sai, the Kha'Zix isolation damage post level 6, have to respect that duel and run away. Golden Glue almost got the inside line there, but now Zig is going in on the Maokai burst.
Blue buff? Thank you.
What a tragedy for Team Liquid. They defend the invade. They're like, all right, we got him off our blue buff here. Zig just goes in and reaps the rewards.
Yeah, honestly though, things that shouldn't happen. Just having a Maokai able to walk down through the river and kill your mid laner.
And again, vision. Early game here, really well controlled by Phoenix One. Arrow goes all in, gets ignited. Matt is under turret.
Oh, that last hit did come through. There's the summoner heal. Oh, Arcade Smash! Zig is on a roll! And that one's gonna go over Lorlo, trying to go hard. Pushes back Zig. They'll have Twisted advance in a second. Arrow and Adrian, very scary for them to get in here. The Keeper's Verdict is down, though. They keep their distance. They have the control. Hail of Arrows goes down to slow down Lorlo even more. And Zig picks up another one.
Zig is doing an outstanding job this game. Top lane, winning it there from mistakes from Lorlo. Then, basically, it's just not giving up on that invade play, I guess. You know, expecting that they are going for that blue handoff. Since they did have that deep vision there. And then this one, he's a second early on that teleport. He teleports first. Plus, it's Team Liquid's bottom lane that's really far up here.
Very good catch.
Matt gets himself stuck under the turret, so he took a lot of damage there. And both the flashes for Team Liquid bottom lane. This has actually been a story for the last couple games with Team Liquid. Their bottom lane pushes up super far, makes a super aggressive move. But the enemy top or the enemy jungle comes to punish it after they're super extended and they've used their summoners just to get themselves out of their own 2v2 situation. That it really is very difficult for Team Liquid here to come back from this. They're losing basically all areas of the map.
I said it shouldn't happen again, Kobe, but
every single area
seems like it was
here
completely up to P1.
Yeah. Problem areas for Team Liquid.
And you say that as much as you think about we go later, P1 banned that Nautilus. So Zig 401 is basically going to be unstoppable. You're not going to be fighting a Nautilus on the other side. It's Poppy, and that goes down a little faster. So the tank fight definitely goes in favor of Zig for quite a while, unless something goes awry for them. Great dodge. Once again, Flash is blown on both sides as he tries to pick up the kill, but Golden Glue just comes up short on the kills. It's what we were seeing last game. They try to go for Ryu, they come up a little short, wasted attempt, and then it just seems like P1 bites down on that.
And another just giant solo advantage there for Ryu, just slapping Golden Glue around this mid lane here. gets off a giant combo, casually turns his back for the Cassiopeia ult, as we talked about, and then burns the flash for flash. So much turret damage, so much control. It's just another insane snowball here for Phoenix 1. Should be able to get that first turret gold for themselves as well. Ryu takes his toll.
And even, he's been gone from his lane most of the time. But the few moments he's actually had Inori up here as well.
Across the board.
CS lead, and look how much damage he still has on that top turret. Already about to fall after the mid lane. So consecutive they should be. And a lot of gold rolling in here for P1 early in the game.
Yeah, solo lanes are definitely an issue here.
The ball placement.
Exactly.
Off of everything.
Zoning pretty hard. Oh, we got the poison on. Didn't get cash for it, though. All right. Counterplay options look pretty slim because of the deep vision here, where Phoenix 1, you see all these red wards encroaching into Team Liquid territory, plus the really big early leads. But once again, Team Liquid are in the situation where they need to play defensively.
Got the flash down, and that's a snake down. Rainover won't get hit up, though, but the power coming through from P1 being this much up means TL is not long for this world.
And that's why people always talk about putting up that defensive vision after your turrets go down.
Yeah.
When your turret goes down, you're so vulnerable, and if they don't have defensive vision on the entrances to their jungle, Inori is just going wherever he pleases at the moment. You're gonna take this in Rainover's face. Maybe they have a smite fight.
Yep. Even Arrow and Adrian are trying to route above Piglet and Matt here, so they can't give Rainover help. Matt has gotten on the safety side, though, and they're probably going to start up a fight here. Inori just went in on a Rainover, and this has now come to this 4v3. Double bubble on the other side of Krugs. That's going to be Piglet getting hit up. He's still able to deliver a bit. Adrian pops himself over the wall with a blast cone. A good hit by Arrow, almost finished by Adrian. Rainover squeaks himself out of the fight with a little hop.
Blast cone!
And Inori over. They go both sides. And it looks like this one slowly disengages. Seems like somebody still wants to fight, but they're not going to find any damage.
Woo-wee. All right, well, they got the red buff. Secured Riv. Brambleback is still on Team Liquid's side.
Worth.
The reason Rainover stuck around is because he's Inori does use a smite on Rainover, so Rainover knows. I don't know the reason for Matt against that wall, trying to land the snare though, in the 4v3. Now Golden Glue does arrive, so you know, Rainover did at least land his smite to steal that back away, but not a whole lot of momentum back in Team Liquid's favor as they gave up a kill for this. Plus, you have zero pressure, and Turret Air is taking some damage as well.
Yeah, look at that bottom side. The red wards all over. As that was just their party zone. We'll see if they decide to move those and go towards the top side of the map.
Man, it's such a really up and down experience for these guys on Team Liquid side. This is another one of those teams that was kind of near the middle of the pack that coming into the season, seeing the openings at the top end of the NALCS, we're looking to make some moves, right? They want to make a name for themselves and really push past middle of the pack, but doesn't look like they are going to get there super soon, as Phoenix 1 are really putting them in their place in this series.
It just doesn't seem like there's the same kind of communication. We don't expect the play coming out of Inori to be the aggression you see from Rainover from season to season, right? The players around him as well going as hard, demanding respect in their lanes. But it seems like P1 is, for lack of a better word, kind of just able to walk over these situations and really find no trouble as they approach a lane, or now heading for Dragon. Obviously, they've given themselves such a lead here, but they're just making it kind of seem seamless as they capitalize on all the fundamentals of getting out of the laning phase so nicely.
Arrow also is going to have those high impact long range shots now. Got his Ghost Blade completed, top of plenty of mana with his tier. Piglet, we're looking for something for Team Liquid, right? We're trying to find some way for them to create a defensive play, and the Arrow is going to be the impetus for that, you know? Lorlo has teleport, so technically, if they land an arrow on somebody out of position, you know, and they have some damage around, they can call all of their members to join. It's just that you really need to get the jump on someone since there's such a huge lead. But again, over and over, it's Phoenix 1 with the jump.
Petrifying Gate,
Hey!
big flash right onto Ryu to not give Inori any more pop-up chance. Golden Glue's gonna get hit up here, and this is P1, almost living in their jungle, able to respond right away.
Down.
But are there enough members of TL? Yes, there are. Base is just a few steps away, and they're able to bring the cavalry in, shutting down, finally, and some aggression from P1.
Yeah, that is one of the best outcomes you can hope for Team Liquid, right? Defensive play. This time they have a bit of defensive vision set up, as you can see their wards, and they've got people in place. This is Inori just filled to the brim with confidence, so he's going in. And Golden Glue and Rainover, talk about being on the same page there. Double flash to the isolated Ryu and just completely take him down. Then their bottom lane here is able to focus Inori, while Lorlo did teleport in on the other side, and Lorlo's the tank. Inori not quite tanked yet, even though he's super far ahead and building semi-tank, so he gets taken down before they get to work through the Poppy.
Thought it was just the cannon minions that made you do crazy things.
So those control wards too.
Yeah, that's true.
All right,
Something
well,
about it.
that's a little bit of gold back in their pockets. But we'll see if those wards actually are able to move in any deeper from Phoenix 1. So this time around, they've got a lot of poking power, and they actually can siege as well.
How would the scenario work of kind of when you see a team with Poppy behind, you're hoping for the teleport behind, you keep Keeper's Verdict 1 or 2 people because you have the split, and it might work for us, these guys, because then that makes Adrian choose where to use the Tsunami. The arrow becomes a little more efficient, so maybe if Liquid could get some deep wards, they have them on the blue side, they could capitalize, or maybe just an arrow.
The pick, the
Well,
arrow!
I set up this
There it is.
complicated thing. Why don't you shoot someone with an arrow? They know what to
That
do.
could be the impetus. They take it. Nice shot there from Piglet. He's trying to get him back into the game. They have a little bit of power here now, but they still have to be very wary. Actually, Arrow using the Varus ultimate, so that's down as well. Definitely some much needed gold, and they'll just stack that one right up.
Note to self. Arrow and arrow, we should call it. Enchanted crystal arrow, or ash arrow. That could get confusing.
Yeah, opposite teams.
Rift Herald voided out. Baron is in. The new hotness. We'll see what happens for this between P1 and TL. I don't think TL is going to want anything to do with that yet. And P1 would just use it to dangle in front of Team Liquid. Good flash by Piglet to get himself to safety. He's been trying to just get as many minions in his bot lane as possible, slowly farming it out and making sure they stack up so he can get them safely.
Yeah, let's see how good Phoenix 1 this time around are good at forcing. Because last time, you know, they had Rengar and Shen. Rengar and Shen, when you've got turrets down, is really, really nice and pretty easy to push that tempo. This time around, though, a little bit more standard with their comp here. And they've got a lot of area to control, whereas Team Liquid have focused very heavily on that defensive vision and on defending their jungle at the moment. So Phoenix 1, they don't have to get worried yet, but they do need to concentrate on not giving away any more of those picks, because the solid advantage that they have should transition into this next Drake. Set up around the Drake, some wards on the backside, and they should be able to draw out. Oh, another arrow, pretty good shot, but Ryu dodges this one.
Good sense by Ryu. So these things are a little quiet. I'm probably going to have to dodge something soon, but now we see Liquid every time that arrow's up, or at least the last 2 times. Let's say every time. But since those 2 times it has been fired, they're looking for those openings, the unconditional arrow to the face that they can follow up on before this team starts building up Quicksilver Sashes on their bot lane.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the state of the game, and it becomes kind of risky here, right? Team Liquid, they want to make more picks, they want to get some gold back, but another Mountain Drake for Phoenix 1 puts so much pressure on transitioning over to the Baron after they pick this up. They can burn through that very quickly. And this time around, they've got 2 tanks that they have options for tanking the Baron. So they don't even have to have like the entire team there. They can just take this extra Mountain Drake, then slowly move all of their vision over to Team Liquid's blue quadrant, force them to run through these small corridors. You've got a Varus, so that makes that really scary, as well as a very standard team fighting comp. So I think the next couple stages here for Phoenix 1 should be pretty clear. Pick up this double Earth Drake for themselves, Mountain Drake, and then try and put a lot of pressure on Team Liquid to make a mistake and try and check into the fog of war around here.
A little punch by Lorlo on the Zig. Love tap there. Looking at Nori for a quick second, his inventory, kind of skipping that skirmisher's finish.
Ooh.
Going for Titanic.
Might do a 5-man dive here on the Maokai.
It's going to take a while. We said Zig was pretty big. 4-0-1. Vengeful Maelstrom denying a lot of that damage. Coming in, and you're going to get rain over. Zig, Rangers is on, and they're able to take him down from Piglet's damage, but holy moly. It took an entire team to take him down.
The 5v3 there, because Nori was also bottom after taking the Mountain Drake. The entire time, Ryu's committing to this split push, so they're going to trade an outer for a secondary, whereas Nori's pushing mid. So Phoenix 1 are pushing in both of the other lanes while this is happening and getting a decent amount more, but they get caught.
Arrow, Adrian's next. A quick Keeper's Vertical, lock that in. This is a little bit of damage on the bot side. Mid lane is actually getting taken down quite hard as well, as that whittles away, drops some structure. 10 to 7, much closer. Good prey seeker, seeking out the prey. Oh wow.
Ryu gets another one for himself. Oh wow, they want to chase down Lorlo.
This is what we see from P1. The fight ends, but not for them. If they can keep going, if there are still fighters on the map from that last fight, it seems like P1 tries to pick up those stragglers straight to the top lane. And a good strategy as well, because now they have to take the time to back, and you're already in position if you have the waves.
Exactly. They can take this time now to clear out vision around Baron to force that. Here, Phoenix 1, the reason they're pushing up to try and stop these bats is to buy Ryu time. And in the end, opening up bottom inhibitor is going to just add tenfold extra pressure to this double Mountain Drake Baron threat. You really have to worry about that bottom lane inhibitor at the same time. So Phoenix 1 going to start it up and begin the pressure here.
It's so dark. I'm
What do
scared,
they have?
Kobe.
Hawk shot? Where's the Hawk shot? I don't know if it's on cooldown. Did they just use it? Maybe they just had...
Hawk
maybe
shot
they had
is
just
down,
used it.
yeah, 33 seconds right now on Piglet, so. That was P1 using the domination that they have so far through the game. You know, Liquid kind of giving that one up, saying we can brave that. And I think they'll be able to as well. Still difficult to have to watch the objectives go away and find that one opening that's going to get you back into the game. We said it was that arrow. It could also be the erroneous engage by P1. You get a good petrifying gaze from Golden Glue, and you might be able to lock up the team just how you want it. Arrow finishing that Edge of Night, so he can already start dodging out Piglet's attacks here. He's a little bit safer. And yep, Nori building up tank. Finally finishes his jungle item.
Ooh, meanwhile, Maokai, Guardian Angel completed. If it's not difficult enough to take him down the first time, dive potential is definitely here for Phoenix 1. They don't have to, though, because bottom turret was already taken by Ryu in the last push. And Baron buff is going to allow them to empower this siege. Shots from Arrow are going to come through with that zoning Orianna ultimate. Orianna sieging is actually one of the things that teams really lose track of, that Orianna ball. When you get to the stage and there are a lot of spell effects flying around and a lot of stuff that you're paying attention to, it's really crucial, especially for your backline, to keep an eye on that Orianna ball. Because one quick move from Ryu can take out the whole squad.
You can also
Really
leave it
powerful.
very close to structures, and it almost sits in them, but you'll see the bobbing action. But like you said, you're not looking for that. Right now, the ball is in control of P1, right with the team as they move forward onto the Nexus turrets. And even less time than game one, 26.5 minutes, and they were already knocking on the front door of that Nexus turret. They're gonna back off though, and make sure they have their minions pushed up before they go too far.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising to see, but Phoenix 1. We say this a lot, but so fresh and so clean this series. Very, very clean. Just completely outplaying Team Liquid. This game all across the board.
Yeah, this wasn't Rainover having
area.
trouble in the early. It's a 2-2-2 Rainover to a 2-1-2 Nori. They were getting at each other in every lane, and it's been P1.
Yeah. The one area is that Team Liquid did have a CS lead in the bottom lane for a little while there. Marginal CS lead. But then, you know, they did make a very aggressive play up at Phoenix One's turret where they were punished super quickly by the other powerful lanes of Phoenix One.
And Zig, solo kill. Zig, another kill. Teleport bot lane. Zig, another kill. And now the team pushing forward. The next inhibitor turret goes down, and Liquid is just firing every bit of poke they have, albeit very medium ranged, into P1 right now to try and get them off this.
All right, slowly but surely, Cannon Minion buffed up. Oh, they're going in.
How many's it get? That's a good quantity. I'll take 3. Nori and Zig still in, though. Look how tanky these guys are. 4v2 as the rest of the team comes in.
Guys.
Puts the ball in front. That's the inhibitor going down. 11 to 8 here, 28 minutes in, and they're looking to do an under 30 victory against Team Liquid here in week 2. P1 trying to get to the top of the standings as fast as possible. From the ashes of last year, the Phoenix is definitely rising so far. They got a long way to go, but are showing very well here in the beginning of the season. Pushed out of the base. Liquid's trying to get themselves a few more minutes before the return of P1. But maybe it's right now.
Yeah, pretty desperate chase here. They realize this game is slipping out of their hands, so.
Zig has no mana. The dissonance slows 2. Focuses on Matt. That would be the timer for him going down quicker. But they pull out. They say, we'll get this Mountain Drake. It'll be in, it'll be out. Oh! Look at Golden Glue, he says, no, minion!
Triple Mountain Drakes to empower that Nexus backdoor I'm looking for. All right. Extra damage to objective.
Just one, Zig, Maokai backdoor.
Let's see.
Teleports in.
How stylish can they do it here? They have a ward. Look at that
Yeah,
ward
there it is.
inside the base. It's pretty far from the Nexus, but it's inside.
The lumbering tree, he can make it.
And Nori's got a semi-deep tunnel as well, and maybe they make it a 2-man mission. Probably just go for a standard, though. They don't have to risk anything.
Yeah.
Phoenix One can push up all 3 lanes, no problem.
That 2-1-2 with your tank mid lane.
Yeah, feels good. They're actually just farming Krugs at the moment. Inflating CS numbers! I'm destroying him.
Actually tied. Oh, you got the last 2.
Yeah, see, he had to go for it. That was necessary.
Did that heal him? Is he hurt? God, he's so big right now.
Find something to auto attack.
Yeah, no, seriously,
Fine.
you can see his arm glowing.
All
3
right.
items. Those 3 items for Zig were 25 minutes. The Sunfire, Spirit Visage, and his Guardian Angel. He's been gigantic. He's going to have trouble fitting items into his inventory soon.
Yeah.
Currently 2,000 gold up on his opposing laner as they head down the top side. And they're going to look for the last inhibitor turret. Cleanup duty by Lorlo and Rainover on the bot. They're going to scurry over now and meet Nori in the middle of the map.
Yep. A lot of individual mistakes here from Team Liquid in this game. And having a very rough time coming back from them. Phoenix One just taking those mistakes pretty much everywhere and snowballing quite efficiently. 31 minutes almost as they head right in towards the Nexus.
There's one thing you can definitely say about P1 is they keep up the pace. A lot of teams will stall out a few times. We question that ourselves as well, but when we did, P1 would kind of fire back in the next 2 minutes. So I don't think teams are really used to that just yet. A lot of the 15 to 25 minutes of games become stall outs, and that's not when P1 stalls out. That's when they keep going, and it's mostly because of this guy right here on your screen, Nori. Tsunami comes out. This could be the final touches here from P1 as they look for the Nexus. Ryu over to Piglet, tries to get the 80 carry down. The last few hits are going to allow him to get to the fountain. The Nexus is getting taken down. It's at 50% HP, and P1 coming up with 2 very nice games over Team Liquid. They take the series 2-0.
Lickety split there for Phoenix One. And they improved to 2-2, I believe.
And you can see on Golden Glue's face there, the disparity, not the way we play feeling. And I'm sure TL felt that all the way through the game. trying to do what they could to right the wrongs, but it seemed like P1 just found everything they could to make it that much harder.
And it was actually 3-1. Their only loss did come to Team Dignitas, and that was in that 1-2 series. So other than that, besides that single series, Phoenix 1 have 2-0'd Envy as well as Echo Fox. And they are, starting to make a name for themselves here. Really do like the way the new roster's shaping up.
Yeah.
And starting to come together.
And that's the question. This was one of their first tests. There's a lot been put on Rainover. Seemed like there were some faults there for Team Liquid this time. See if they come back stronger next week as well. We know they play much better than that, but that's not to take credit away from P1 in that game as well. They played very well, and it's hard to look good when a team plays that well, honestly. Great job out of the jungle mid lane. This guy on Maokai last game. Zig, what was that? Getting his first kill. You work a kill off of Poppy, you're like, oh, Maokai got a kill top lane. Great, he's going to be a good tank later. And then just starts racking them up right after that.
Yeah, maybe we need to go back a bit further and see that replay, because that was a definite turret dive from Lorlo.
Oh, yeah, mistake.
Because we're always like, oh, yeah, Poppy, Maokai, solo kills. You don't really have to, probably not going to happen, don't have to pay attention. But when you turret dive like that and take a bunch of turret shots, definitely changed the possibilities there. And even though it was hard to chase down, he got that one and ran with it.
Definitely something to look at for that game. It was Honori really getting under the skin, I should say the team, and picks bans, and then the ward onto, I was going to say Kha'Zix, but on Rainover, got his name now, to start that game. Having his pathing allowed P1 to do so much. Definitely something to look at. They are so proactive with just a little bit of information.
Yeah. And it was actually a lot about laners as well on Team Liquid in multiple lanes playing, really not respecting the enemy jungle.
That's true.
A lot of times when we're like, oh my goodness, this guy's going off. Gank here, gank here, gank here, gank here. Why does he have all these opportunities? Sometimes, lack of vision, lack of defensive play, not respecting him like that can be things as well that you need to take into account. But man, we're almost done for. That was a quick finish, Viv. I didn't expect it to end this early. Back-to-back, very quick games here, clean from Phoenix 1. As Team Liquid have a lot to improve on, and I know they're going to be super hard on themselves about the way that they've started these first 2 weeks, because they do only have that one victory, and it's not the way that they wanted to come into the season, having revamped and having acquired Rainover and got that high-powered acquisition. Yeah, it just definitely some areas to work on.
Do you feel like it's fine for them coming out of picks bans? Any kind of troubles there that Team Liquid could look at? Obviously, we always say the least in for Rainover, but that's not a game collapser.
Well, as we move forward, I believe it's definitely in the works. I don't know if it's next patch or a patch after that. But the Rengar is going to be taken down as well as the Kha'Zix. So, maybe he gets some help there as the meta starts to change back away from these two. But right now, it's definitely an issue.
Definitely something that happens. So let's send it down now to Jat and Phoenix 1's Man in the Jungle for his thoughts on that win.
Thank you, Riven. Yes, I am joined by Nori. Congratulations on the victory, 2 over Team Liquid, but also 3-1 on the split so far. How does it feel to start so strongly this year?
Yeah, last split, we really didn't have a good start, so having a good start this time is really, it's like a weird feeling, like, I didn't really expect it, but being, like, top-tier teams, like, without, like, maybe, like, a rank, actually, wait, no, it is Rengar pick 2, but being top-tier teams 2-0 feels really good, though.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of the Rengar pick, it's one of your best champions. Were you expecting to get it in game 1, or was there any strategy into hoping to get it, and then how did you feel performing on it?
Yeah, we saw TSM's draft against Team Liquid the other day, and it was pretty interesting. And yeah, they were giving Rengar up, and they were taking Kha'Zix, and I thought that was a pretty good trade. And we didn't expect them to give me Rengar because normally it's like taboo kind of thing, but they gave it to me, so I appreciate it.
Nice to appreciate that as well. And you were up against Rainover, who was a former MVP of the North American LCS, also dominant regular season. How did it feel to have such a good performance against Rainover?
Yeah, no, I looked up to him a lot, and I try to learn a lot from him. So I respect him a lot as a player, and it actually feels really good to do well against him. I think he's an amazing jungler too, and I really look up to that guy.
Yeah, a lot of respect for Rainover, and you had a great series against him. Also, just talking about the rest of your teammates, Ryu and Arrow, a lot of teams talk about whether they do want or don't want Korean imports because of the language barrier and the communication. And I wanted to get your opinion as a jungler. What's it been like in week 2 playing with Ryu and Arrow?
I think normally some imports have English problems, but those two are pretty good in English, and they're really engaging people. So that's something that's pretty surprising because some Koreans are more shy, but they're really engaging. So it feels really comfortable playing with them and being around them, and they're all like really lovable people. So it's really nice.
Awesome to hear. And also, final question for you. Early on in the North American LCS split, there's been a lot of really strong play by, I'd say, the young new junglers. Do you think that's a symptom of the meta of junglers right now, or is that more of a thing to stay with the quality of the players?
Yeah, I think junglers have so much impact early game right now that a lot of these junglers are pretty good and they can snowball early game really well. But I feel like some of them don't know how to play like the mid and late game for a jungler. And I think that's an important aspect too. So I think these junglers are pretty good, but also the meta is favoring junglers a lot early game.
All right, well, thank you very much, Nori. Congratulations on the 3-1 start and the 2 over Team Liquid. Let's send it to the analyst desk to analyze that game.
Thank you very much, Jat. Nori and Phoenix One looking good in their victory here over Team Liquid. Appreciative of the fact that he was able to get the Rengar in Game 1. Not in Game 2, obviously, as they were red side, so they opted to ban it. And still hand that Kha'Zix over to Reignover, who has looked lost to a degree with these targeted bans that teams are throwing at him specifically in the jungle.
Right, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, saying, oh, I'm not sure if it was worth it based off TSM's performance on Rengar. Here, when Nori gets his hands on Rengar, he takes over the entire game, and you're like, all right, if that's how the strat's going to work,
right,
that's a great strat.
Exactly. But then we get to Game 2, right? And you don't have that mismatch anymore, and Nori's on the Rek'Sai and still has very much control over the game.
Right, and you have to look at kind of that play that Reignover made in the bot lane, where his bot lane does not have priority. He's kind of invading around the blue buff. He loops around, looks like he gets out, kind of hesitant on what they want to do exactly, and he gets
really wanted that scuttle crab, man.
Yeah, it just was a little too greedy. I don't know what he was thinking. And then whenever something's going right for TL, something always feels like it's going wrong out of nowhere. So bot lane finally gets a solo kill. They're looking really good. But on the top side, Lorlo loses his mind. He dies, and then it's a series of events where TL is struggling to get ahead. But you know, props to Zig, because he, once he got this kill, took over the game almost, where
shared the wealth.
Yeah, this is the kind of thing you want to see out of a tank player. You're not saying, let me snowball in lane with this kill. You go bottom, you turn this play to get your bot lane ahead. They're going to pick up 3 kills off the back of this play. Yep. And then on the flip side, later on, he's going to get into a skirmish in the top river that's going to leave Golden Glue low, and he's going to pick him off as well. So Zig, despite, you know, getting canned that first blood, what he did with it was really, really impressive, and he definitely took over the game.
And I think this hits on a larger thing for Phoenix One here, which is that each of the players seems to very well understand what their role is on the team. Not just champion specific, but how they need to play as a squad, which is that Zig is not going to be their primary carry or their go-to carry in the majority of games. He's going to play those tanks, the Maokais and the Poppies and the Shens and whatnot, so that he can support those more aggressive players in Nori and even Ryu in the mid lane and Arrow when it comes to the late game. That's not to say he can't play the carries. We saw the Jace game, and Jace and Kled both banned here against Zig. So if the time comes, he'll probably step up. But it's really great to see the evolution of Phoenix One as a squad, understanding how to play
right, I
as
think
five.
That's the big thing, is that they all work together. And when the draft says, all right, Zig, you need to carry on Jace, he's able to do it. In Game 1, we saw the MF prioritize. Phoenix One's bot lane and lane is not actually that impressive. You look at their stats, and even the eyeball test, not so great. But when they're given the counter pick and they're given the priority in the draft, they perform. They crush TL's bot lane Game 1. And it's the kind of thing that whenever a certain player needs to do something for their draft to work, they're able to do it. And that's what's really impressive. And what you want to see out of a good team is that they actually work together and not just like, here, someday you're the carry, please carry us every game.
Yeah, when Inori gets Rengar in Game 1, he goes off like 9-0-7, whatever the heck the scoreline was. This time around gets Rek'Sai, plays a slightly more tempered game, knows that he's not going to be this high damage, 100-0 damage carry out of the jungle. So great on them. Player of the game is going to go to Zig, though, who did kind of act as a carry on that Maokai in this game.
Right, I mean, definitely that's where most of the advantages came from. Once he got that first kill, he was very happy to get out of lane, which is exactly what you want to see out of a team player, the fact that they're not just sitting in lane all the time.
Right.
Farming up, getting that bigger CS lead because you have a little bit of pressure in your lane. Using that pressure elsewhere on the map, much more useful.
Also, the dude drew a Kled ban, so I feel like you get a couple boosted points in the player of the game votes just for that. But as we talk about all the great stuff that comes out of P1 and Zig in this series, we have to turn a critical eye towards Golden Glue here. For Team Liquid, you talked about pieces of the puzzle that aren't really fitting for them. His lane phase, leaves something to be desired, or much.
I would say it leaves a lot to be desired, but coming into the season, I think a lot of us were looking at Golden Glue as kind of this not superstar player. You're hoping that he holds on and he looks good in team fights. And to be fair, he has looked pretty good in team fights once he gets out of this deficit that he seems to start every single game in.
Right.
He even got solo kill game 1. But, I mean, if that's what you're expecting out of Golden Glue, you have to look at the other members around him. What are they doing? Reignover, not been that impressive. Their bot lane getting smashed, not that impressive. Lorlo's the only semi-consistent player, and even he has his struggles, didn't play great in game 2. So you look at this team, and it's easy to say Golden Glue is the worst performing member, potentially, but you have to look at what was expected of each of them coming into the season. He did not have the highest expectations.
Right, and then kind of the last thing to consider is just the fact that Team Liquid does have a second mid on the team. I know we've talked about it before, and it's really up to them when they're going to bring it in, Link in, but it might be time to start having that discussion in terms of what are the merits of having Lincoln versus having Golden Glue.
Right, the question is, what does he bring? Because when your whole team's struggling, and it's not just like, oh man, our mid lane just keeps getting smashed, it's like, well, sometimes our bot lane looks bad, sometimes our other...
Does Link even solve the issues?
Right, exactly, and Link is known to have a pretty strong voice about what his team needs to do, so maybe he does help in that regard, but I mean, you have to fix those things first. Draft as well being something that TL almost never seems to come out ahead on, so there's a lot of concerns when you look at this team.
Yeah, Phoenix won. They moved to 3-1. They're going to be happy with that. A struggling Team Liquid at 1-3. They've got some work to do this week before we get to week 3. We're headed for a break, but while we're away, send any questions you have to @LOL Esports for myself, Kobe, and Azale to cover later during NALCS tonight. Stick around. It's Envy versus Immortals when we come back.
I ran over. Sing to us. After match. After match.
Boom baby, boom baby, boom baby.
Our Piglet best singer.
He's got the double buffs on the side of Reignover. He wants that transfer. Nori gets the transfer. There it is, the hit. Arcane smash in 1 second. Oh, he can use it. Here it comes. There it goes.
Oh, huge mistake on that dive by bottom lane. Another kill.
What is happening right now?
I have flash. Does Ash have flash?
Yes. Double flash. Poppy's there. I'm pushing top.
Oh, sorry.
I'm okay, I'm okay.
I'm
Okay,
going.
Ash can move a little slowly.
Okay, they can move. Okay, me and it.
Hey, Poppy can go mid too.
Come on, keep going.
Phoenix won with the jump.
Petrifying gate. Flash right onto Ryu to not give a Nori any more pop-up chance. Golden Glue's gonna get hit up here, and this is P1, almost living in their jungle. Look how tanky these guys are. 4v2 as the rest of the team comes in.
Maokai healing off
Ryu.
those guys.
From the ashes of last year, the Phoenix is definitely rising.